Hey everyone, welcome back to the Link to Linguistics. So today we're talking about politeness, power dynamics, and facework, because all those concepts are sort of the underpinning for the reasons that you can and should expect humans to interact with a conversational interface like a chatbot much differently than a graphical interface like a web page. So, starting with politeness, what exactly is politeness? Why are we polite? When are we polite? And who are we polite to? It's really easy to say being polite is saying the words please and thank you. But that doesn't seem quite right, because you can absolutely use those words in a context that is pretty impolite. So you could picture someone who's pretty snobby about baking. Oh, you learned to bake during COVID? Please. If your sourdough starter wasn't inherited from a family member at least 3 generations ago, it's hardly real sourdough. Even though I said the word please, that wasn't that polite. And if politeness isn't necessarily in the words we use, then what does it even mean to be polite? So, 2 linguists, Penelope Brown and Stephen Levinson, can help us out with that. They proposed a theory of politeness that lays the groundwork for the politeness techniques all of us use in conversation. Their paper was literally called Politeness Theory. They proposed the idea that politeness is the act of minimizing face-threatening acts against whoever you're speaking with. Face-threatening? Huh? What the? Is that like threatening to pour water all over someone's face after they've just finished doing their makeup? No. So to understand theories of face and facework, we can enlist another linguist, Erving Goffman. You've actually probably heard the phrase saving face before, as in, he tried to save face by apologizing after giving everyone COVID over the holidays, but everyone was too angry to care. So Goffman defines face as a mirror of the way a person wants to be perceived by others in their surrounding space. So about a decade later, Brown built on Goffman's work to work out what politeness is. She actually came up with 2 different types of face: positive face and negative face. So positive face is characterized by desires to be liked, admired, and relatable. She characterized negative face by the desire to not be imposed on or do what you kind of need to get done. Positive face refers to one's self-esteem, while negative face refers to one's freedom to act. So these 2 are always kind of conflicting with each other. We need to get things done, but we want to be really polite to kind of maintain our social relationships while we're at it. And these 2 aspects of face are the basic needs in any social interaction, because cooperation is needed amongst all the participants to actually maintain each other's face. And they do this by using positive politeness and negative politeness, which pay attention to people's positive and negative face needs. So power dynamics become important here too, because if you perceive someone to have more power than you, you'll do a lot more work to save their face in any given interaction. And it's important to note that this dynamic is unspoken. So that's why the CEO of a company can respond to emails in super short one-line answers, while someone reaching out to that CEO to ask if they'd be willing to be their mentor would most likely, hopefully, not phrase that request in a one-liner. Hey, wanna be my mentor? Call me tomorrow. So in any conversation, you have the speaker and the hearer. So positive face is threatened when a speaker or a hearer does not care about their interactor's feelings, wants, needs, or doesn't want what the other one wants. Because face threats can be done to your own social face as the speaker, or they can be done to your listener. So some examples of threatening the hearer's positive face is the speaker expressing disapproval, criticism, contempt, ridicule, complaints of the listener. Or the speaker somehow implying that the hearer is wrong, irrational, misguided. So to get things done, sometimes you have to threaten someone else's face. Like literally asking someone a favor is technically threatening their face. But there are interesting ways that a speaker might soften the blow a little bit or do what's called a hedge. Like if my boss said to me, "Happy Tuesday, Brielle," Wrong. It's Wednesday. Jesus, this guy. Instead, I'd probably say something like, oh hey, sorry, I think it's Wednesday. Because if I need to challenge my boss or threaten his positive face, I try to minimize that threat as much as possible by actually threatening my own face and apologizing. Or if someone who really admired you invited you to their birthday party and you really didn't want to go because it just, like, isn't your crew. Hey, Brielle, can you come to my party on Saturday? Nope. Instead, you'd probably do something like, ooh, my hamster has COVID. I'm sorry. So in saying that, you as the speaker are threatening your negative face because you're apologizing and humbling your own face to maintain the hearer's face. So why does this matter if you're designing conversations? Well, first of all, there's an interesting power dynamic at play here. The voice assistant or the chatbot is literally there to serve the human. So you could claim that the human has the upper hand in the power dynamic. And the human probably already feels this anyways. So with that being said, your conversational agent is already in a precarious situation. So as soon as the voice assistant threatens the user's face, whether on accident or on purpose, it is bad news. Especially if that user's in a room with all their friends, but that's the concept we're diving into in a few weeks, performativity. As conversation designers, we can live by the principles of facework. Always threaten your own face as the chatbot or voice assistant, and never threaten the face of the user. That means, for example, if there's a misrecognition, Alexa, how many penguins live in the North Pole?
You mumbled. Say it again because I can't understand a single word you're saying.
And instead, we want to say something like,
I couldn't quite hear that. Could you please repeat yourself?
If your user types this into a chatbot, instead of this, we probably want to save their face by saying something like this. So, to wrap up, as conversation designers, it's generally a good principle to preserve the user's face, and unlike a human might, we probably also want to take any kind of face-threatening act to us as the conversational agent in stride. Now, these principles might change over time, but right now in 2021, these are generally the best practices that we are following. That's all for Facework, Power Dynamics, and Politeness, and we will be expanding on this next week when we talk about performativity. Thanks everyone, and goodbye for now.